What if we played Captain Carter in something other than full on going? Let's jump in. How's it going, folks? Welcome back to the Snap Academy. I'm Muse, and today we have two new cards. It is the brand new season. We have Peggy Carter and Goliath. Let's jump into the cards, talk about them, talk about their combos, their synergies, all the fun stuff that goes on with them, and then jump into the deck breakdown. Captain Carter is a 4/3 ongoing. Add this card's power to your back row cards here. Can't add itself. Sorry, buddy. So Captain Carter, I like to think of her as a backup Iron Man because of what she's doing. Every kind of point you add, you need to triplicate onto the back row cards. And this is the first card that we have that's kind of doing that rowing mechanic. I think I stole that from Res Snapper. Really like him a lot. Has a lot of good takes and everything. I always like to watch him. So shout out to Red Snapper over the pond over there. So yeah, Captain Carter. I'm playing it. I like it. Definitely, we have the full on ongoing deck that the Goliath goes in as well. There you go. You copied it? All right, cool. I'll put it in the description as well. I think that's definitely the deck why 2099 was nerfed, a couple weeks ago. But I still think he really works with her. I like the kind of zooing out of everything, and that's a little bit of a hint for what we're doing for this deck. And then we have Goliath. Goliath is a 2/1 ongoing +1 power for each other ongoing card you have in play. He's basically the Morbius for ongoing, which is awesome, and this card should have been made probably when Snap was created. And both of these cards are really why I like this idea of the zoo out with the dooms and having a few different things. So obviously both of these cards, they are ongoing. One's going to help the other, and you don't necessarily need to put them Goliath more so than Captain Carter, but you don't need to go full in on the ongoing. You don't need to go full in on Captain Carter, and that's really what people are doing, which is why, I just kind of threw that deck up there for you real quick so you can play it if you want. Goliath is definitely the more boring of the two cards, doing something very straightforward. I think he's going to be really great with speed in Wiccan decks. If you do have a lot of ongoings there, obviously the more ongoings you have with Goliath, you're going to, be rewarded for doing the thing. I think I got Goliath up to a 211 on stream. Super solid. I mean, that's a good scaler right there. It's up there with Thena, with Havoc. I think Strange Supreme's going to do the same thing when he becomes available. But yeah, Goliath, he does his thing. So let's talk a little bit more about Peggy Carter, Captain Carter. So again, everything you do to her, she gives to everybody else. She actually starts off as a 4/9 if you are zooing out that back row, which I find, that is enough. I did try playing her with a Living Tribunal shell. I think I was really close to doing something there, but it wasn't quite there. And then we finally pivoted to kind of this big zoo out with, just throwing things everywhere, doing Patriot, Ultron, and just filling everything up, which I think is really fun. Just filling everything up, having that Ultron, having a reason to play Ultron. I feel like we're going to see Ultron a few times this month. Stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed so you see all those fun deck techs as well. So I wasn't really focused on, just kind of buffing her up, going all in on Peggy Carter. I think she definitely is strong and you can focus on her, but she's just really a great add-on piece. She's a great value piece. She's not going to fit in every single deck, but the decks that you find that work with her, we're talking on stream, and she can fit into a few different things. I can't remember everything off the top of my head. Obviously, you've got the Spectrum ongoing. We're doing Zoo stuff, the Tribunal stuff, which is kind of ongoing as well, but I think she's going to be very versatile. I didn't find that she was broken by any means, so that is a plus. There's probably something that'll break her. Now, to jump into our most valuable resources, our keys and tokens, which we will have an update for in the future, hopefully at the end of the month. I asked you guys, what are you doing with Goliath? 8% of you said you were picking up with keys, but actually tokens because I'm an idiot. 49% of you said you're picking them up with keys, which are actually keys. 21% of you said you were waiting on this video. Is that how you do it? Or is it this way? I'm trying to do the Airsham. And 23% of you just said no sirree Bob.
which is fair considering the changes to the acquisition system. I agree with everybody getting it on their keys and not tokens. Only for this week if you do not have Gwenpool. If you have Gwenpool, I would use your tokens. That way, you do have more keys when we roll over into the new system. A quick little thing on that with the new system, at its baseline, it's looking like 2 keys guarantees 1 new card, which is an increase. So no more 4 banging for sure. So the more keys that you can save up, if there are cards you want to target, like Kahori, like Infinity Ultron, like that Strange Supreme, there's some bangers coming out. I do suggest using your tokens if you can. Now, with that being said, let's jump into the cards.
So going from the bottom up, we start with Echo. You can't see her. I mean, so we're in the middle of a very heavy ongoing meta, and I even forgot about her a couple times while on stream. And I think she's just a good card. She's an ongoing 1-drop. I think she's ongoing. Is she ongoing? She's not ongoing. So I just found that out. No idea what her text box does. You can't see it anyway. So I just like her is just doing a little bit of counter. I saw a whole lot of negative on ladder. I saw, obviously Captain Carter on ladder. We're seeing Doombots on ladder. We're seeing a lot of things. So just having that kind of 1-drop there is why I did it. You can probably sub her out for an Ant-Man, something else. I think you have her. She's series 3. So she's definitely a flex spot. I just like her is just having that little bit of tech because you do need tech to interact with your opponent so you have a more likelihood of winning. Goliath is in here. We have a decent amount of ongoings. We are not going too over the top. So we're probably going to get him to like a 2, 2, 3, 4, probably a 2.7 on average, which is great value, great scaling. It can go higher if we do play more the Doombot route. So it is a nice scaler. So everything that kind of got nerfed from Doom 2099 is getting put into Goliath. So that's why we have him there to kind of help boost up that Doom 99. Psylocke so that we can get into that Doom 99 on turn 3, get a little bit earlier, or even our Captain Carter or our Moonstone. Being able to play things a little bit ahead of curve is super awesome as we are going to zoo out quite quickly. So we want to make sure we get our bigger pieces down. Mystique, I feel like is another flex play. I like her, going from that Goliath into a Mystique. Having, 2 ongoings, they buff each other up. And then also something else for... Honestly, that's really it. So Mystique, you can keep in, you can take out. I do like copying, that Captain Carter if we need to. Or even, this is why I actually put it in the deck, so we can go Patriot into Mystique into Moonstone, and then do our surprise Ultron play. That's why she's in the deck. I remember now. Patriot, this is a Patriot deck. We do have 2 cards on the top end that make cards that don't have abilities. So this is a secret Patriot deck. Captain America is going to boost up our Captain Carter in that lane, so we want to make sure that we're doing Captain America into Captain Carter and then zooming out behind it to boost those up. So even if we have 1 Doctor Doom, we're giving that Doctor Doom a nice amount of power because the Captain America doesn't go into the Doombot, but it goes into the Captain Carter, then into the Doombot. So we're kind of jumping through holes in order to boost everything up. And if we do get the Captain America onto the Captain Carter, onto the Ultron bots, then that is also an extra bit of power, giving them, what's that, 2... So giving those Doombots plus 5 power just in those lanes. If we don't also have the Patriot down, we're making a lot of power very quickly. Again, this is kind of the same idea as a holodeck. We're just going very tall. It's more interactable, so it's definitely more fair to play against, but it's also more fun to play because you're not just doing one thing and having fun, or not having fun. Doom 2099, we're zooming out. That's what our goal is. We want to have a lot of cards wide, and each one of those Doombots are going to buff our Goliath and our Mystique if we do that Goliath Mystique combo. Moonstone is going to increase the power of our Captain America, of our Patriot, of our Goliath, of our Mystique. Moonstone's got a lot of hits here. Moonstone is going to feast in this deck. Blue Marvel, we're just giving a little buff to everything. We're filling up our board. It's going to be a plus 11 if we do fill up everything, not including that plus 1 onto Captain Carter, which actually ends up being plus 3 with the Captain Carter, and then the 2 more on top of it. Doombots, we're going wide. We're filling up that back row behind Captain Carter and also getting that Patriot value. Same thing with Ultron. We're just filling everything up. You can also put in the Dazzler over Goliath if you did not get Goliath this week. So that is an option. Now that we have the whole deck tech, that was a little bit of a mouthful. Let's jump into the pilots. Grab the link in the description so you can follow along. I'm actually really happy with the start. If we don't get... So there's a rule of thumb. The rule of thumb is if you have Psylocke on 2, you play Psylocke on 2. I'm really bad at doing that. Because I like to play, especially if I have 2 2-drops and Goliath can scale out. That's really good. But also, I don't have a Doombot, and I need the Doombot to scale the Psylocke. There's a whole lot going on. So I do have the... Okay, I'm actually going to go Psylocke into Moonstone, just because that's super strong, and okay, we're good there. So I don't have to worry about the Destroyer. I might actually, if I get the Doombot, or the Doom 9099, I will go into mid. If not, I will hit the Moonstone. See where we go. Alright, so we're hitting the Moonstone. Get a little bit of power here. I probably want to play the Goliath right next to it, because that's just super scaling. Because the Moonstone has the same effect as the Goliath. That's just going to be a really strong lane as we keep zooing out. I do actually... Okay, so I am going to pivot here because we do have the Patriot now. So that was a nice, Moonstone, play Patriot on top. So we have what we need for the surprise Ultron play. I'm going to snap here too, actually. Even if our Ultron gets blown up, it's still going to be super great. So I could actually use the Goliath here. It's a little dangerous, danger going into the danger room, but okay. Oh, okay. So we had a lot of options there. I actually didn't know what I wanted to do, because the Goliath would have been really good, and I could have actually, because it was turn 5, I could have Mystiqued on top here and then played a Goliath somewhere else, or Goliath left and then Mystique here, and then ended with an Ultron, which would have been super strong. And we didn't even get Captain Carter there, so that was epic. Yeah, that was just a great dub. Okay, so again, I do have to make the decision between Psylocke and Goliath. I haven't seen Echo once, actually. That's kind of funny. I think I'm gonna go Goliath here for now, just because we do have the Patriot for the Dr. Doom, so we can zoo out later with the Captain Carter. Hit the Echo, unfortunate. Okay, so that does help. So we can actually play here and then do the Captain Carter after the Captain America, which is very nice. Who just plays Angel? That's unfortunate for them. Ooh, so I can actually do double Peggy. Except it's 0, so that doesn't really help. Maybe I'll probably drop the Patriot here. I'll do Patriot left. Sir, stop. I have a feeling that this is a... Stop. This is definitely an... not Goliath. A... what you call it, deck. I might just go here. Galactus. That's what I was looking for. I think it's a Galactus deck. I know that the dogs are outside, sir. Oh, maybe not a Galactus deck.
Doom rules all.
A bot? For sure a bot? And then we go... Although Moonstone is kind of epic here, I do kind of just want to do a little show off. So Moonstone into Patriot just to buff up that Doombot even more. I might just do Patriot right to clear this off, because we're probably going to win left for sure. That's going to be a very strong, because we're getting the double up from Captain America, power here, lots of ongoing, super strong. And we win right, probably. Yeah, that's a dub. 8 cubes back. Let's go. Okay, so we can go either way with our zoo. Starting with the Ultron. Elysium's really nice, especially being able to play that Captain Carter on turn 3, or even our Doom 2099 if we do pick it up. This is really nice. Okay. Just wait one more, and then we can start doing stuff. Don't know which direction we want to go yet. Oh, they got the that one. Nice. All right, so Warrior Falls. Okay, so we're definitely going full zoo here. We're gonna snap. We know what we got. Ideally, we would get a Patriot next. Patriot would be really nice, but if not, we've got the blue marble. Play blue marble. Oh, there's the Patriot. So I do actually want to play Moonstone and then let them think that I'm an idiot with the... Yeah, so we'll do Moonstone, which boosts up the Patriot, and then Captain Carter just wins this lane. So this is like the... Oh yeah, of course they moved that over. So I'm actually okay with that. Wins with Tomb. That's mildly okay, actually. I don't know why you play the Enchantress now. Oh, that does actually suck with that Captain Carter. That's a really good... I didn't realize that with the Winds of Tomb. That is highly unfortunate. So I do need to do this, and then we'll win right and probably left. We're actually about to find out if the Captain Carter does give negative boosts. Here we go. And then just in case, I have we'll win. Those will be big. Are you kidding me? I mean, I win right, actually, to be fair.
There's no strings on me.
Okay, so she does not give negative boosts. That was the best wow. I can't believe that just happened. So yeah, we just learned that Captain Peggy Carter does not give a negative boost. No, she does. She does give that -2 to all the other cards. I lied. That's good to know. So if you do make her negative, then yeah, because this one's a 12, those ones are 10. They do get -2. Would you look at that? Now we know. But yeah, Surprise Ultron is always strong. I don't know what we got. I mean, I climbed a little bit with it. I think I climbed 3 levels with this deck at the end of the stream on Tuesday. It was solid. Like I said, I pivoted literally last second into this deck. I love it a lot. Any excuse to play Ultron and Doom 2099. So I think this is a very strong deck and kind of a new version of Ultron. I'm gonna start with Goliath. I'm giving Goliath 5 out of 5. If Morbius is a 5 out of 5, Goliath is a 5 out of 5. It's a great scaler. In the archetype, it does a fantastic job. It does exactly what it needs to do. Goliath, 5 out of 5. If you do ongoing, if you do Doom stuff, this is a card you need to have. For our season pass card, however, I am a little bit on the cusp. I'm going to give her a 3.5 right now. Again, this is really just day one. I did play her in a lot of decks. I don't think she's broken by any means, and I don't think she's bad. So don't let me get wrong there. I always say that, you know, my top of the line, you know, 5 out of 5 cards are archetype definers, like must have cards in a deck, like Goliath. If you're playing ongoing, you want Goliath in your deck. So she's, obviously she's got her hard counters like Enchantress, Rogue, but everything's got their counters in the game of rock paper scissors of Marvel Snap. I like her. I think we're going to have a fun time with her. I don't think she's going to be, just absolutely relevant like Agamotto was, but we'll see. This is the season of ongoing. We do have a lot more cards coming out this season, but I do think she's fun. I think that she's going to be solid and, a good card, but not a broken card. Kahori's definitely going to, I think, boost her up a little bit. Maybe do a different archetype with shield cards, and I think that might be where we start seeing Captain Carter kind of start shining as just kind of like not necessarily a generically good 4-drop, but a 4-drop you want to buff Zoo that helps out hand buff. When you want to do a lot of cards, I feel like Captain Carter could be the card for that, but we will see. Again, I like her. It's just a season pass card. You always want to get the season pass card if you do have $10 to spare. The season pass is the best value in Marvel Snap. So if you enjoy these deck techs and highlights, make sure you snap those like and subscribe buttons so you know every time we drop a new one. Make sure you check us out every Tuesday as we're playing the new card, and I believe every Friday as we are doing our kind of starting from scratch series, helping new players kind of get into Marvel Snap, answering all of your questions, and just being there for the community. So until the next time, happy snapping.